Happy Wednesday, Fight Time. I am here with a special guest today, and I cannot wait to share with you what the Lord has done in my friend's life. So I want to introduce you to my friend, Kelli Romero. She is my good sister and friend. And I do want to apologize if you hear music going on. Our church is already active and bustling with people. They're getting ready for Wednesday night service. So I want to throw this out there. If you are in the East Texas area and you are unchurched or don't have anywhere to go tonight, we invite you, come. The doors are opening for our kids right now at 6 o'clock. Our adults it's open for you for fellowship and for coffee. And then we'll start our worship at 6:45 tonight. But I cannot wait for you to hear what my sister's testimony is today. So if you're hopping on, just say hello so that we can see that you're on here. And I am going to let Kelli first talk to you guys. Tell her a little bit about herself, and then tell me about how you came to know Christ.
Okay. Hi. I am so happy to be on Fight Time. This is something that has really been a blessing to me, and I'm sure that it's a blessing to all of you as well. But being on Fight Time is just an awesome honor. So thank you for having me today.
You're welcome.
I'm Kelli. I have been living in Rusk here for about a year, and we pretty quickly came to the church after we got here. But before that, and when I grew up, I was not someone that ever really attended church. I was raised by a single dad, and my one experience with church really was that he needed a break, so he would send us across the street to Sunday school at a Chinese church, and I don't remember much about it except for that we had Cheez-Its there and hot chocolate, and that's...
Did they speak Chinese?
Yes. Okay. I mean, they spoke English too, but it was very much like a Chinese church. We lived in the Bay Area in California, so... and then in my teens, I did go with a friend to church a few times, and that was a good experience, I would say. But just never something that I stuck with. And I never really truly knew the Lord like I do now until more recently. So, I had that experience as a child, and then up to my early adulthood, I was what I guess you would say wild. Yeah. And then me and my now husband were planning on getting married, and something told me that I just needed to have God with us. And so I asked my one Christian friend who went to church, if she would pray at our wedding. And so that was kind of the beginning of it.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And so for those of you that don't know, my friend Kelli, they ended up moving out of the United States and into a little Caribbean island called Antigua, which is super awesome.
Yeah, we love it.
And so tell me about your time at Antigua and how that played into you guys coming to know Jesus at that time.
So we had been living in Antigua for, at that time, about 6 years, I want to say. And we had just had our second child, and our marriage fell into like a very dark place. I think a lot of moms and married couples kind of go through that. As you have children, things really change. And we were in a very hard, dark place. And again, out of nowhere, the Lord spoke to me, and he just said, you need to have prayer in your marriage. And so I told my husband, like, as we're working through this, we need to pray together every day. Yeah. And so I think that both of our faith really started to build from there. We ended up living in Antigua for several more years and never found a church home until we came here.
Yeah. So in Antigua, whenever y'all were working through that, did you really have to do it on your own? I guess did y'all have much support?
We went through traditional marriage counseling at that time, but we were in another country, so we did it online, with an app. I did try to find a Christian counselor, and what I'll say is that all those apps say they're a Christian counselor, but they're never really someone that's going to pray or lead you, towards the Word. Yeah. But I would say it was still a positive experience.
Yeah. Good deal. And I know our women can relate to marriages that are struggling and needing some assistance, especially from the Lord. So I know that we can relate to that. So a year ago, you moved back to the States. How did you find Texas, and how did you find Rusk?
So it was actually 2020, maybe 2021 when we moved back to the States. We moved back to where we were from. My husband's parents still live there, and that was in Northern California. And we got there, and the way that I describe it is like an itchy wool sweater. As soon as we got there, we were like, we don't fit here anymore. We really need to find something else. So we bought an RV, and we kind of decided to pack all of our kids into it and set out to find the place that we were going to be. Well, my husband's best friend had just bought a house in Chandler, And so we parked our RV there and just started making trips out. And we really fell in love with the Piney Woods.
That's awesome.
It looks a lot like where we're from in the Sierra Nevadas. And it just, we were here for a while. We went to Arkansas to look at some stuff. We got to Arkansas and we're like, this is really beautiful.
It is beautiful.
But we feel like we already kind of found our home.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we just started looking for a house that we could buy, like now.
Yeah.
And we found this little house in Rusk.
That's cool.
And that's how we found Rusk.
That's awesome. So the Lord will bring you wherever you need to go.
Yeah. And now it's clear why.
Yeah, for sure. So shortly after, how long were you in Rusk before you decided, talk about how your husband found Covenant.
So I had told him, hey, when we moved to Texas, I just really feel like we need to find a church. We need to settle in. We need to find a community of like-minded people. And, you know, I just really feel that calling. And he was not a fan of that idea at all. He kind of said that he was not really interested in having a church. It wasn't something that he felt very positively about. He felt like he had a good relationship with the Lord anyway. And so I just kind of, you know, tabled it and was like, we'll see what happens. Then he went to go register our vehicles and he met Chucky. And Chucky invited him to church. And he came home from that and was so excited to come to church. And now, I mean, he's so involved.
Yes.
So we are 100% all in.
Yeah.
And it was like almost an instant transformation. We came here maybe twice and then we just were like, we're in.
Yeah. I can remember them coming and then all of a sudden they stayed. It was like, okay, they're here. That's awesome. So it was a very quick transition and we've seen that with several families. So whenever you came to Covenant, and I know it's not about Covenant, but whenever you came to Covenant Church and you experienced the Lord, from there, how did that transform your life, your marriage, your family?
I think that, so when we moved here, we moved also with my in-laws. So we're like one big family group. There's 8 of us. And we all started coming to church. Kirk and me and the kids came first, and then we got my in-laws to come. And the Lord just moved on all of us.
Yes.
And we plugged in different places in the church. So it was, yes, it checked that box of community, but also learning to have a personal relationship with the Lord, learning the freedom that is in the Lord. It has just been a whole life transformation. I keep waiting for someone from my old life to say like, oh, you've changed. So I can be like, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I have.
I've been waiting
Thank
for
you
that.
so much. Like I await that moment.
Yes, that's awesome. So I've thought about that too, where I'm like, whoever knew me in high school, like you don't know me now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know me from college. Like I'm completely transformed because of Christ. So you feel the same way.
Absolutely.
And I know that her entire family feels the same way because they've plugged in now to our church. And so can you talk a little bit about now that Christ has come in, he's completely transformed your family, and now you're all serving in the church, in the kingdom. So what is your role right now in the kingdom serving? What are you doing?
So very early when I got here, the Lord whispered in my ear that my purpose was going to be to work with the mothers of this church and of the kingdom, not just this church, honestly. And I was so baffled. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go work in the nursery because that's where the moms are. Like, I don't know what else to do, God, but here we go. And he has clarified his purpose in a way that I am so grateful for, because I have never been a driven person in like understanding what my purpose was. I actually dropped out of college when they tried to make me pick a major because I was so afraid to pick the wrong thing, but he has been so clear with me. So I'm able to serve the mothers of our kingdom in several different ways. I do one-on-one mentorship with moms in the church. That has been one of the most transforming things I have ever experienced. The power of speaking love over a mother it's indescribable. And the way that the Lord puts words in my mouth, excuse me, when I'm doing that is just really amazing. I serve in the nursery still. It is it's a loving blessing, and it's a handful.
It's a handful.
I love all
we
the
have
babies.
lots of babies.
Yes, we have lots of 2-year-olds.
We have a lot of 2-year-olds.
So it can be a handful, but so I do that. We're also working on a podcast, which I'm really excited to get started on, specifically about people sharing their testimony.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that's what my hands are full of right now, and I love it.
Awesome. So she the really cool thing is, and I want to speak this to you, as the beginning of this year or the end of 2022, whenever I was praying over where the CovLadies ministry was going to go, part of the vision God gave me was mentorship. And I didn't realize that Kelli played a part in that. So Kelli is a part of our CovLadies mentorship, where she is literally taking women who just really need some love and some direction, some support, and she's the Lord has given her the opportunity to do that, and it has been beautiful to see transformation. So I'm grateful for you for doing that.
Thank you.
One last thing, I know that the Lord has shown you a lot about nutrition and food and that sort of thing. Can you speak about what He's doing with that? Because that's a huge kingdom ministry as well.
The other thing I'm doing is the parenting class.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
Sorry. I'm also going to be starting to do on our Help Nights a parenting class on Tuesday. It's called Kingdom Parenting.
I love it.
So raising up leaders and royalty within, the Lord's kingdom. So in preparation for that, I decided to take a health coaching course. So I'm certified as a nutritional health coach now, that's specifically for families with children. You and I have spoken about this, and you shed some light on it that I hadn't considered before, which is that the enemy is going to use food to weaken his people.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Lord's people. So I've been on a quest for healthy, whole foods and the best ways to feed my children and raise up our family for years.
Yeah.
But it has amplified since coming here. I've been doing a lot of research about food dyes and ties to behavior and just a lot of different things with regards to food. So that's something that I'm fired up about.
Yeah.
Definitely
That's
consuming
so cool.
a lot of information about
Yeah.
and so happy to be given the opportunity to share it.
Yes, yeah, we're so grateful for that. I'm also on the same journey with my family with food, and so I did share, I think that's totally an enemy tactic to take food and transform it and then essentially attack our families with it. So I think that the Lord's definitely going to use you in that ministry of food, nutrition, along with parenting, mentorship. So Kelli has plugged into the kingdom, and she has a calling on your life. I'm just going to speak to you. You have a calling on your life that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I'm just honored, as someone called me, to be able to watch what the Lord is doing in your life and the transformation that He has over you and your family. And I can't wait to see what He's going to do with your girls and Kohler, her son. And it's going to be an awesome transformation. So I'm grateful for you, so grateful for you. And you are such a loved part of this church.
Well, thank you.
Very loved. So ladies, that is Kelli. That's her story. Anything last words you want to share?
No, I mean, if you don't have a church, you should come check out our church because it has been a huge blessing in our lives. And I have never met a group of happier, more welcoming, just genuine people in my whole life. And this church has blessed us in a way that I will never be able to really explain.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. So, well, ladies, if you enjoy this interview, make sure and leave a comment. Tell Kelli how much you loved her and her testimony. And this is our prayer. Our prayer is that the women that we're going to be sharing with you, the testimony that Kelli has, the transforming power of Jesus Christ, our prayer is that it goes forth to you, anyone that is listening under the sound of our voice, and that you see that the transformation power of Jesus Christ is for you too. Our prayer is that you know and understand that the blood of Jesus that was shed on the cross was for you and for your freedom, and not just so that you can go to heaven. It's for transformation and freedom here on earth right now. Can you agree with that?
Yes.
So that is our prayer for you. Thank you so much for joining with us tonight. If you don't have anywhere to be, come on to Russ, Texas, to Covenant Church.
Or online.
Yeah. We're also online.
If you can't get here.
Yes, ccoet.org or on Facebook. And if you are not here, then we do pray that you go to your church tonight and on Sunday, and that you are blessed and you plug into the kingdom there. So we love you so much. We thank you, and we'll see you later. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.